Don't you miss the sweet slumbers you fell into as a child? Neend app helps you recreate that magic with well-crafted exclusive sleep stories, guided meditations, and calming music to lull you into the restful sleep you need. Our offerings are all ad-free, approved by experts, and have helped more than 90% of our listeners fall asleep as quick as within 15 minutes after tuning into our app. Download the app for more sleeping aids and subscribe to the channel. The Five Golden Arrows. The Mahabharata is one of the greatest epics in Indian mythology. It contains over 1 lakh couplets. It contains many plots and subplots. This epic is full of many known and unknown stories portraying numerous characters. It has been told and retold for thousands of years. Mahabharata is an infinite ocean of knowledge and wisdom. Each story is powerful and holds life lessons to be taught and passed from one generation to another. The stories of Mahabharata would remain incomplete without mentioning the name of a great warrior, Arjun. Arjun is one of the major characters of the Indian epic Mahabharata. Arjun was born when Indra, the king of gods, blessed Kunti and Pandu with a son. From childhood, Arjun was a brilliant student and beloved of his guru Dronacharya. Arjun is depicted as a skilled archer and is famous for the magical weapons that he won from Lord Shiva. Arjun and Krishna's friendship is one of the most important aspects of this epic. Their friendship changed the direction of the war of Kurukshetra in the due course of time. It is their friendship that dominates the narrative in the Mahabharata. Throughout the epic, Krishna serves as Arjun's friend, philosopher, and guide. He played the role of Arjun's charioteer during the war. When Arjun lost confidence and motivation and put down his weapons, refusing to fight, it was Krishna who revealed himself as Vishnu's avatar and encouraged Arjun to carry out his duty as a Kshatriya. Krishna opened his mouth and showed the entire solar system to Arjun. Krishna tells Arjun that dharma is both like a rock and wax. He said that dharma is not an institutional religion, but it is your natural and binding duty. Krishna teaches us how to be dutiful in challenging times. Arjun teaches us how single-minded focus can help achieve your goals. When you want something in life, you must be as focused on it as Arjun. This focus will make you a winner one day. And when we are talking about Arjun, another name cannot go unstated. Duryodhan. Duryodhan was initially named Suyodhan, and he is also the main antagonist in this epic. He was the eldest of the Kauravas and the son of the blind king Dhritarashtra and Queen Gandhari. Duryodhan was also an extremely courageous warrior with many skills, but his greed and arrogance led to his downfall in the Mahabharata. Still, Duryodhan too taught us some important life lessons. He taught us that pride comes before the fall. Duryodhan taught us how blind Swadharma can lead us to Adharma. He taught us that blind pride and wrong actions have awful consequences, and one must be careful and thoughtful about their actions and thoughts. Ego leads to the destruction of intellect. Mahabharata teaches us that learning is a never-ending process. We should keep learning whatever comes in our way at any phase of life at any time. It also teaches us that we should only perform our duty and not be inclined towards the fruit of action. Those who acquire knowledge only to achieve something will never be able to extract the true virtues of it. This was the strongest motivation provided by Krishna, which led to the victory of the Pandavas. Hi, I am Ronald. Good evening, friends. Today, I am going to tell you a very interesting story from the greatest epic, Mahabharata. 5 Golden Arrows. This story plays a pivotal role in changing the face of the great war of Kurukshetra. It is about the 5 golden arrows that had the power to change the course of the war. If things had fallen into place as Duryodhan had planned, the Kauravas would have won the war. But Adharma can never win, isn't it? Every action we do in the present is always connected with the consequences in the future. Any act, good or bad, never goes in vain. Our actions are tucked on a thread one by one, like flowers strung in a garland, and we are answerable for everything we do. Whatever you give comes back to you one day or the other. Adverse situations in life teach us either to be bitter or better. It's up to you which path you will choose. It does not matter how good your thoughts are. What matters are your actions. This story teaches us an important lesson that by helping a competitor or a foe in distress can earn you respect. Similarly, Arjun earned his reward by his good deeds, and Duryodhan faced the consequences of his adharma. In this journey, you will find yourself in the depth of wisdom, benevolence, justice, and dharma. You will come to know that choosing your friends wisely is very important in life. Always choose God and have faith in Him. And while choosing, always choose quality over quantity. Keep yourself free from attachments. Attachments make you blind. Try to be as good as possible, but don't ever compete to become better than others. Never let anyone take undue advantage of your kindness. Let go of your anger. Your mind is your greatest weapon. Utilize it wisely. Revenge takes you nowhere. Simply forgive, forget, and move on. Then only you will find clarity in your mind and peace in your heart. Soon you will find yourself in a new world of happiness and peace. Before that, make yourself comfortable in your favorite position for falling asleep. Switch off all lights and close your eyes. Take a slow, full, deep breath and let go. It's time to set the world aside. Let go of your day and begin your gentle transition into sleep. Take another slow, full, deep breath and breathe out any tension in your body. All there is to do now is relax, rest, and be restored. You are in bed now, feeling your body relax from the day. Beginning with your feet, allow all the tension to go out of them now. They have worked hard for you all day and deserve a rest. And so, the relaxation in your feet begins to find its way into your ankles, your calves, and your knees. And now, relax your upper legs and hips and feel this relaxation flowing up into your abdomen and lower back and your upper back and chest. And feel this peaceful, relaxing feeling flowing down your arms, into your hands, and out your fingertips, and then up into your neck, head, and face. Now, your whole body is perfectly calm, relaxed, and ready for sleep. Soon you'll be sound asleep, off on a peaceful journey into a dreamland that will carry you through until morning. So, As you continue to listen to the story, begin to follow your breath. Relax your entire body and settle in for a wonderful sleep experience. Let's begin the story. Duryodhan offered Arjuna a boon. Arjun said he would ask for the boon later when required. Why would a sly man like Duryodhan offer Arjun a boon? To find the answer to this question, we have to go back into the past. After losing in the game of dice, the Pandavas were forced into a 12-year exile in the forests, followed by a year of incognito. At the end of the 5th year of their exile, Arjun, the third of the Pandavas, went deep into the Himalayas to gain advanced weapons, while the remaining 4 brothers, along with Draupadi, travelled the entire India, covering many pilgrimages and meeting many sages. During the 10th year, Arjun came back with a host of divine weapons, including Pashupatastra in his arsenal. Meanwhile, Bhim met Hanuman and trained under him, enhancing his martial abilities. Once Arjun returned, they settled in a forest called Dvaitavan to spend the rest of their days in exile. Their achievements and association with great sages across the land made them better human beings, helping them cope with the wounds of their unfortunate gambling incident. On the other hand, Duryodhan was restless with jealousy. Thus, to remind the Pandavas of the agony of their wounds, Duryodhan went on an expedition in Dvaitavan on the pretext of counting the cattle in his kingdom, which was a custom in those days to measure the affluence of land, as livestock was considered wealth. Men and women of the village wore different costumes and entertained the royal family with dance and music. Duryodhan rewarded them with food and money. The entourage wandered around the beautiful forest of Dvaitavan, enjoyed the humming of the bees amidst the flowers, and delighted themselves with the dance of peacocks. The large entourage led by Duryodhan, consisting of thousands of soldiers, several of his brothers, their wives, and his best friend Karna, and then camped near a lake in Dvaitavan. It was like a picnic for the entire convoy, where various activities like hunting, swimming, and feast were organized. On the other side of the lake, a similar entourage, led by a Gandharva named Chitrasena, was camping. Gandharvas were celestial musicians in the court of Indra, the king of the gods. Apart from their music skills, they were powerful warriors and held many magical weapons in their possession. When the Gandharvas came to bathe in the lake, due to a large entourage and limited space, a conflict started between the Kauravas and the Gandharvas, which eventually turned into a full-fledged war. In the beginning, the Kauravas seemed to gain leverage, but soon the Gandharvas started using their magical tricks and weapons, and the Kauravas went on the brink of defeat. Chitrasena overpowered the Kauravas in no time and took Duryodhan as a hostage along with a few of his brothers and their wives. The soldiers who escaped from the ground approached the Pandavas in their camp. When the soldiers narrated Duryodhan's plight, Bhim was overjoyed, and Arjun laughed at his misery. Yudhishthir, on the contrary, ordered his 4 brothers to rescue Duryodhan and save his life. Nakul and Sahadev showed no interest in helping their enemy, so they walked away. Arjun and Bhim too protested, trying to convince his brothers. Yudhishthir said, "Disunions keep happening in families, but that doesn't mean the honor of the family should suffer. We have indeed been betrayed by Duryodhan, but we should help them, since the women of our family are captive too. Get up, please go and rescue them. Even an ordinary king helps those who seek refuge in him. Good deeds never go in vain." Arjun and Bhim softened a bit, but weren't much convinced by Yudhishthir's virtues. Yudhishthir could read the minds of his brothers. He found out a tricky idea to convince them with his intelligence. This time, Yudhishthir said, "The bestowal of a boon, sovereignty, and the birth of a child are sources of great joy. But, dear brothers, the liberation of a foe from distress is equal to all the 3 combined together. What can be a greater source of joy to you than to have Duryodhan sunk in distress, depending on your help? If Duryodhan's life is saved because of your strength and skill, is there anything greater than that?" Arjun and Bhim saw a rare opportunity to belittle Duryodhan. Along with Nakul, Sahadev, and the surviving Kaurava soldiers, Arjun and Bhim attacked the Gandharvas. With his advanced training in weapons, Arjun soon overpowered Chitrasena. Chitrasena told Arjun about the wicked intention of Duryodhan. He said that he was sent by Indra to put Duryodhan in chains and bring him to heaven. Hearing this, Arjun said, "Chitrasena, Duryodhan is after all our cousin, and our eldest brother Yudhishthir has commanded us to rescue Duryodhan and to ensure his safety." Chitrasena said, Though it is not right to set free the evil, if Dharmaraj wishes, so be it. Chitrasena acknowledged his defeat and handed over Duryodhan and his family to the Pandavas. Apparently, this became a matter of shame for Duryodhan, and out of embarrassment and gratitude at the same time, Duryodhan granted a boon to Arjun, to which Arjun said that he would ask for it when required. Duryodhan left the place with his head hung low and ashamed. His mind was filled with humiliation. He camped on his way back home and was joined by Karna, who fled from the battlefield, leaving his best friend Duryodhan in distress. The war of Kurukshetra was in full swing. After a few days of the war, Duryodhan was upset with Bhishma. He thought that Bhishma was not giving his full attention to the war and was actually taking the side of the Pandavas and half-heartedly fighting for the Kauravas just for the sake of the promise he had made that he will protect Hastinapur. One day, Duryodhan went ahead to Bhishma's camp to confront him. He accused him of not fighting the war with full vigor because of his affection for the Pandavas. Bhishma immediately stood up with great rage. He couldn't tolerate the allegations put on him by Duryodhan. Duryodhan's words pierced his heart. An upset Bhishma could not say anything and took out 5 golden arrows from his quiver, chanted mantras, and put his life force in those 5 arrows. He declared, "Tomorrow I will kill the Pandavas with these 5 golden arrows." Duryodhan, not having faith in Bhishma's words, asked Bhishma to give him custody of the 5 golden arrows, saying that he would keep them with him and return them the next morning. Meanwhile, Lord Krishna received the news of these 5 golden arrows from his spy. He quickly made a plan and called Arjun. That night, Krishna reminded Arjun of the boon that Duryodhan had once owed him for saving his life from the Gandharvas. Arjun then went to Duryodhan in stealth. Arjun pointed to the arrows and said, "I want those 5 golden arrows. You granted me a boon once that I can ask anything from you. Now it is time to fulfill your promise." Duryodhan was speechless for a moment. He had no option but to give away those arrows, as it was his duty as a Kshatriya to live up to his promise. Duryodhan half-heartedly handed over the 5 golden arrows to Arjun and asked him just one question. "How did you know about these arrows? Who told you?" Arjun replied, "Krishna." Duryodhan did not doubt that while the great Lord Krishna was on the side of the Pandavas, he had no hope to win the war. As Arjun left, he walked to Bhishma's camp once again in distress, and with a look of defeat on his face, he requested Bhishma to make another set of arrows. Bhishma laughed out loud. He said, "I had made those arrows with all my might I had, and my life force in me. Even if I want to, I don't have any more power left to infuse into the arrows." Seeing Duryodhan agitated and scared, Bhishma said, "You did not trust me enough to keep the arrows safe. At least I had no obligation to give them to anyone." Duryodhan knew that Bhishma was telling the truth. He walked back to his camp with his head bowed down.